business. And actually you can see here that this sheet has 10 slots going across, 10 slots going down. The 10 across represent the 10 different ways you can layer your customers, layer new faces, layer potential prospects, the layering tool. And the 10 going down are the names of people you are about to book, going to book, you are facials, what we call it, now we call them, there's so many new terms now with COVID, in our sense, the beauty experience, or that you introduced the product to her in some capacity. So if you haven't had a chance to use it, we're going to post a link in the chat section so you can explore it, print it, use it. We want you to get comfortable with this because this is our new normal. So as you set goals, Mari, if you can scroll to the bottom, Mari, as you set goals in your business, let's say you're like, you know what, I would love to become a Mary Kay beauty consultant, a senior beauty consultant. One completed sheet of these can put you on the right track to becoming a senior beauty consultant. And as you can see here also, 2 of these sheets, it can lead you to a red jacket. Completing 3 of these sheets, meaning that you have 30 new product experiences with new women in a month, that you are checking off, crossing off, the lists, each of these categories. That is a goal, that you are building your skills, building your team, growing your customers, growing your confidence. And we've dug into all of these guys over the past few weeks. What I'm going to show you is, and Mari, can you scroll back to the top? Yes, so we talked about the beauty experience. We talked about the second date. We talked about last week, Mari beautifully talked about creating your VIP customer group. Show of hands, how many of you worked on that VIP group? I know Ale got it down packed, she did it. A few of you worked on that. If you didn't, you can go back to the playback and rewatch these and just kind of go backtrack. But we talked about the live Mary Kay opportunity and what we do to share the business opportunity. We talked about preferred customer program. Many of you submitted your customers in for this past week for the winter catalog. Congratulations if you did that. Virtual events. We talked about virtual events and Skipio, a system. Janet mentioned about a system to message your customers, send text to your customers, a great message way for follow-up. We talked about next week we'll talk about the pink pop-up shop, because we have a couple coming up for the holidays. I know we have one on the 7th for the Bold Believers and Fearless Dreamers. And then we have, Janet's team has one on the 14th of November. So holiday pop-up shop is coming your way. But today we dig deep into the dream session. So it's all about the dream session. So how many of you have been with us since prior to COVID? Maybe even a few months back before this, you're not so new in a sense. You've been here longer than 3 months. So maybe you've heard this reference to as a career chat. You've heard about, hey, the career chat, like you have a potential team member, we're going to do a career chat with them, or a career coffee. How many of you ever hosted a career coffee or career chat back in the day prior to COVID? We can call it BC, before COVID. Yes, BC, before COVID. Life was different before COVID. So, so back in the day, we also called it an interview. We called it the interview, but the interview of a woman's heart, a woman's mind. The goal was this, that we would get physically together in person and have a great conversation about the potential of the business opportunity in a woman's life, in her family's life, the impact it could make, and having that one-on-one time. So back in the day, we called it a career chat, career interview, a chat, because those terms back in the day with women in the work environment, corporate world, it was like the thing to be that professional working corporate woman. And interviews were like, that word was in. Now, an interview, you tell somebody, I would like to interview you. Hey, do you want to be go to a Mary Kay interview? They're like, what does that mean? Nobody, right? Doesn't make you nervous? I just got nervous thinking about, right? Joyce is like, yeah, I'm nervous thinking about the interview, right? Nobody wants to be interviewed, right? Unless you're being interviewed like by Oprah. That sounds super cool. But the interview, right? Also, maybe, even a career coffee felt like, oh, I have to go physically meet her in person. There's so much pressure when she's going to buy me coffee and I have to join her team. Right? I still love career coffees. I think they're fun. We're changing the name. Even if you do those coffee sessions, we're just changing the name. Forget the interview, forget the career chat. We're calling it a dream session. Because that's truly what it always was, right? It's a moment, an opportunity to pause and dream of the possibilities of what can come from a Mary Kay business. What can it look like to have an extra source of income? What can it look like to be more confident? What can it look like to have more choices, more opportunities? something stable, something for yourself, something that could, have an impact and influence beyond your business for generations to come, for your children, your children's children, that can influence other women. So dreaming about the Mary Kay possibly. So thank you to MJ who had that vision. I'm not sure if that was her idea, but I love her brilliant mind. And just dream session came about, right? So, and here's the thing. Most people, I want you to know that right now, most people do not go to an event, a Mary Kay event. This is unless you're you're the exception. And if you are, you're super special, more above and beyond. Everybody here is special, but you're like a super special vision here because I didn't have super special vision. Then maybe you're somebody who went to one event and you just knew instantly you're going to do Mary Kay, and you told your consultant. She didn't even have to even ask you. You said, listen, I want to do this. How do I get started? How many of you actually, without even being prompted, nobody said, would you like more information? Would you consider this? How many of you just literally said, like, I want to do this without even questioning, right? I know Brianna did because she saw her mom do this. And a few of you are like, I want to do this, Wendy. So if some of you needed that prompting, that conversation. So here's the reality. Most people need that we've discussed before. Most people need a layering. They need more information. And some people don't even see it for themselves, but you can be the person who sees it for them and plants a seed or paints a picture of the possibilities, right? So, and here's the thing. I do recommend a dream session be after ideally somebody has experienced Mary Kay in some capacity. She's experienced our product in several ways. We have the powerful 10 sheet. She could be on a virtual event with you. You could do a one-on-one skincare session. She could come to your shake up your makeup. She can come to your hydro session class. She could come to their opportunities, right? Even a Skin Analyzer app. She was inspired by how much she bought from you in that 15-minute window and was like, hey, I'm inspired. They can participate in a dream session even if they're just curious and asking questions. There's a woman who I facialed recently, and she just had a lot of really good questions. She swears that she's not interested. She swears it's not for her, but she had such good questions that I couldn't help but think, you have some really awesome questions. I just want you to hear more. Doesn't hurt anybody. If anything, you're gonna feed your need to know more. You're gonna give me your feedback. But I would love to share with you more because I feel like I would love your opinion and love what you think. Know what you think about this. So they maybe could genuinely just be curious about how this whole thing works, asking questions. Maybe, they did not express any interest, but you see something in them. It's my favorite one, I think, because that's a challenge. I feel like when you see something in somebody, they don't see themselves, but you just know that they would be good or they need this, right? Or maybe, it's somebody that you're like, you know what? She's just my loyal supporter, but she'll do it to help me practice and help me learn. Right now, that's where maybe many of you are. That's somebody who can help you practice and help you learn. Maybe you're still discerning who is that candidate, who is that person you don't know. Like, would they, should they, could they? I always say it never, you can only gain from having this conversation. It's a compliment that you're extending them the opportunity. That's a mind shift, by the way. Instead of thinking it's a burden or a pressure, it's a compliment that I would love to extend an invitation to you to learn more and hear more. That is a decision. That's a mind shift, right? And I'll give you one more thought too. Again, the reality is that most people are not going to go like, I'm ready, without you even asking the question, would you like to hear more? So knowing that you're going to prompt them to hear more is important. Most people need that. So what is a dream session? It's simply a conversation. It's a conversation via your phone, regular phone call, old school phone call conversation, right? Maybe it's FaceTime, maybe it's Zoom. I love Zoom now. Actually, Wendy here is going to share with us in a few minutes how her Zoom conversations went when we did these career chats, because we've redefined it in person. We can still connect. We can still get together. It looks a little different right now, right? So, and that conversation is to uncover what's most important to them. What are their dreams and goals? The possibilities. What can a Mary Kay business fulfill? What dream could it fulfill? What goal could it help reach? What desires could it help achieve? Fulfill. And right now, I want you to know that maybe not everybody is thinking that deep right now. I want to make that clear. That right now, I don't believe that everybody can see beyond COVID yet. Just like in most people, we're living month to month, like things are changing a lot month to month. So you have to understand that people are in that place, but you can show them that in Mary Kay, we dream of the possibilities, that there is potential, we have so much potential future, right? So I just want you to know that, because right now what people since COVID are right now looking for more self-reliance, like safety, security. I love that our brilliant national talked about this, that when you share the business, really the focus is like, hey, something that you can do safely from home, because having home-based businesses right now are essential. This is something secure, right? Secure because we've been in business for 57 years. We've not only pivoted one more time in our 57 years to go virtual, but we have succeeded in the pivot. We have grown in the pivot. I know people who have asked me in an interview, in a career chat interview, I keep saying interviews, but we're doing dream sessions, that have asked me, but seriously, Christine, but come on, you can be honest with me. How did Mary Kay do during COVID? How is it done during the season? Are you guys okay? And I love the answer, like, praise God. I'll say, I didn't know March 15th, 16th, 17th through the 31st what it would look like, but I can tell you April and beyond that our business has transformed one more time to continue to be relevant for women, offering even more what women need, safe from home, and men need safe from home businesses for their children, their businesses, their families, offering what people need with independence and flexibility, offering secure opportunities. More than ever, we are more relevant, right? But I want you to know that we still can show women that we in Mary Kay get to dream, whether it's for cash for the immediate, or cash for the ultimate, like for the ultimate goals and dreams, or it's, or it's the community that we have right now. But people right now, write this down, are looking for safety, something safe, something secure. Mary Kay is that. People are looking for trusted brands right now. Right now, people are choosing trusted, loyal brands more than anything else. So we are that trusted, loyal brand. People are looking for safety, security, and self-reliance, independence, freedom. So going back to that concept of the interview, reason we're moving that word is because an interview means that you're working for somebody else. Some of you already do that. But the American dream now is, hey, have your own business. Have that freedom. Work from home. Work for yourself. So the dream session helps people go there. Does that make sense? Thumbs up? We're liking this? Good. Okay, so I do want to take you to what this dream session looks like. We talked about that it's a conversation by the phone, FaceTime, Zoom, and you might be in a place where people are willing to meet with you. I know Wendy had a dream session with somebody in her phone because they're comfortable like that. They have a relationship with that. So you can do those too. But in the meantime, know that we have still get personal, still connect through Zoom and FaceTime. So we're going to look a little bit right here at the dream. If you can pull up for me the dream session sheet. And we're going to talk about this. So this is, so I want to give a shout out to our amazing fearless director, Crystal Rivera, who put this together after many trainings, and you will have access to this. This will be in our dream session guide, or in our team building guide in a moment. So we're going to give a little shout out to that. We're going to see that in a moment. But for right now, I want to talk to you about the actual session. So this could be that you schedule this with somebody right after she attends one of your sessions, and you want to have a deeper conversation with her. It could even be impromptu, that she's a few minutes. She's expressed interest and she's curious. Why wait and schedule something if she's in the moment, interested and curious after one of your virtual events, asking you questions? How does this work? Oh my goodness, you can jump into this and, use your intuition with what questions and things you start sharing first. This could be that, hey, you schedule this with your sales director so you can practice, so you can learn, you can hear her and you can chime in. So you have a copy of this sheet and so does your sales director, right? And your guests will be asked these questions. Also, we have an incredible opportunity we have every Thursday in the month of October where we're doing Real Woman, Real Stories. We had Lisa Madsen last week, national sales director. She's like Inner Circle national sales director. And this week, we have one of my dear friends. You're going to love, I know she's dear to Madi as well, Karen Reidel, and she's going to be sharing her story as well. So I would suggest to you, I'm gonna give you some tips before we go, that if somebody you have in mind to do this with, invite them first to this Thursday's guest event, to Real Woman, to Real Stories. Then after the call, you do this. When you call them after the call, this is the tool you're gonna use. Ready? Here it is. So let's say it's me with your sales, Madi, it's Janet, it's Mercy with their sales director. Like, hey, hey Janet, thank you for helping us with Mercy's training today. Here's what we're going to do today. And you could do this, by the way, for yourself. Like, hey, Thank you for helping me with my training today. What we're going to do today is I'm going to ask you a little bit more about you. Now, this is your dear friend, and you know her to her core, and you already know everything about her. So you probably won't be asking her these questions. Tell me more about you. She'll probably look at you and want to throw something at you because don't you know me, right? So don't offend your best friend here. But the people you're trying to get to know, maybe you met her at a party, or maybe you don't know her that well. Maybe it's been a long time and you want to re-catch up with her. You can do a variation of this, but you can say, I want to catch up with you and just see what's new, right? So I'm going to ask a few questions, and I'd love to share with you, a couple of things that people want to know more about, and the three things that most people are interested, that interest people in Mary Kay, right? And at the end, I will ask for your opinion. Super easy. What that does is people love predictability. The first time I recognized this with my meeting with my financial advisor, Summer Diaz, when I sat down and met with her, she literally took the first minute or two to explain what our session would look like, what we would be going over. And that gave me, my husband, a sense of security. People like to know what to expect. So that's point number one, lesson learned. You people love to know, even with your virtual parties, you tell them, hey, what can you expect from today? We're gonna share about having healthy, glowy skin. I'm excited to book you for your second date, right? Today we're gonna talk about how Mary Kay changes lives. People love to know what to expect. So here, that's just an intro for you, right? So here it is. So you're not going to say, okay, well, first, here are 4 P's. No, you're going to just jump into it and say, hey, let me tell you, tell me a little bit more about you. So let's say I met Ala for the first time at a party. She was a guest, and I want to ask her a little bit more about herself. Hey, Ala, tell me a little bit more about you. No, so this right now is telling you a lot about, her personality, which is another training itself. If she's, I can give you a brief rundown, but if she talks a lot about, introduces her accolades, her achievements, her position, that means that she's more than likely a D personality, and she's will be a little bit more dominant in the conversation, and leadership is probably important to her. This is another training, but maybe you a little idea of this gives you her personality. Maybe she responds about her children, like, oh my goodness, I'm a mom, I homeschool them, or hey, or you know what, I have 2 children, their names are this and this, or I have a husband. Like they go more into others versus to themselves first. Can reveal too, they probably maybe have a little bit more of a S personality, that they're maybe more on this, their families, that their family being on board with the business is important to them, that their family being part of the decision making is probably important to them, that they maybe won't jump into the decision without speaking to their family first. That's common too. Maybe somebody who just goes on and on and on and on and on and on, like I do. That shows you their I personality. So that will tell you that they're just somebody who may talk fast like me, and that are excited and may make a quick decision to do this, but also can get nervous quickly because of people thinking about them. So I personality is care what people think about them. So that could be an I. And then you have your C, who's may respond to this question with a question and say, well, what do you want to know? What would you like to know? So, and this tells you that they may have a lot of questions for you, and they may not have all the answers right away. They need to probably think about it and process their questions, and that's okay too. So, but that first question tells you a lot. If you already know them, maybe what would I ask in this case? Tell me more about what's most important to you right now. Like I would maybe ask more about their current status, state of mind. Hey, what's, tell me what, what's been, through the season of COVID, what's been going on, fill me in. And really her response may give you an update as to where she's at mentally with all this, right? But I love the question, tell me what puts a smile on your face. What puts a smile on your face? People tend to laugh when they ask this question. They can hear them smiling. They smile, they're like, oh, my puppy, or my child, or my daughter, or reading a good book, or music. You're going to find a lot about them. And if that question doesn't give me enough information, like the other day, somebody said their puppy, I was like, okay, well, what else? I was like, what else brings you joy? Because I didn't know where to go from there. I'm like, I don't have a puppy. So that sounds cute. So next, so I'm like, what else? I got dug deeper. What else? And when in doubt, what else? Tell me more about you. They say, I'm a teacher. What else? What else is a great question to add to any of these, okay? So tell me about a time, by the way, this tells what brings you joy is their purpose. So this tells you what's most important to them, especially in the season right now, right? What brings you joy, spending time. I've been hearing a lot, spending time with my family. During COVID, that's been a big thing, right? Or, or just maybe taking time for me brings me joy, doing self-care time with COVID, right? So thinking about that. Number 3, I don't say number 3. I'm like, well, it's conversational. It's a conversation. So, Janet, tell me about a time that you felt proud about yourself or felt successful. And what about that experience was special or important, or What did you love the most, right? So I'd probably ask that question in two parts. So tell me about a time that you felt proud of yourself or felt successful. This really helps you dig into probably also know her how she sees herself, what she's most proud of, and how people win in one area of their life is how they tend to win in other areas. So just how she won in that spelling bee, just how she won in that work competition or that ultra marathon, where she helped her child through their help pay her kids school, or helped graduate two successful children from college. Whatever the thing that she's proud of shows you where her passion is and part of her purpose too, and how she won in that area, how she worked toward that goal, how she won. It's probably how she may win in other areas of her life, So when I ask them, well, what about that was special? What about that experience did you love the most? Hearing their overcomer story. And there's no greater story than anybody else's. It's how they overcame something, how they succeeded in something. That is something I take notes in this. Wow, that you passed the bar, that you switched, you had to go back to school to change careers and you did it. You were proud. Or hey, you went through a divorce and you know what, you raised two children on your own. Or hey, like there is so much power in knowing that this is what this person succeeded in, overcoming a stigma, overcoming an obstacle, overcoming what, right? So or somebody told me I couldn't do it and I did it anyways. So I love that passion. And this is a fun question. This tells you how far somebody might go. Doesn't mean they might not go further, but it shows you maybe how far or fast they can see themselves going in the near future. And it's also, for me, this question about fast forwarding a year tells me if this person is in a forward movement during COVID, like I want to move forward beyond COVID. I want to be beyond the situation. Because if somebody, when you ask them about this question, if they can only see their current circumstance, they may not be able to see possibilities beyond, or maybe you can help them see possibilities beyond, but they're not there yet. So fast forward a year from today. Let's dream for 1 minute. A dream comes in, right? Let's dream for 1 minute. If time and money were not an issue, what dream would you like to be living or have come true? We had a recent one and the woman said, live on the beach. I'm like, great. What else? What else? What else? He goes, be my own boss. Great. What else? I'm writing these down. I'm thinking, gosh, which of these can Mary Kay help her achieve? What can Mary Kay help her do? Is it the money to live on the beach? Is it because she needs the freedom to work from home so she can live and work anywhere? So she could, right? So what are the possibilities here? And this is always curious because there's no cookie cutter answer. People are sharing their dream with you. And for some people, they may not even have an answer. And you might be the only person that's asking their dream in a really long time. That's what Mary Kay did for me. The last time someone asked me about my dream was my high school professor in English, AP English, and he asked us to write a 5-year letter to ourselves. And he asked us to dream where we would be in 5 years. Well, when I got that letter back, I realized I achieved none of those things. But the good news is I had a disclaimer on my 5-year letter. Thank goodness. I knew myself well enough to know. I put a disclaimer. And if you've achieved none of these things, it is okay, as long as you are moving forward and are happy and successful. I was like, go Christine, I needed a disclaimer. I did not go to medical school. I did not even make it through nursing school, but I made it through Mary Kay. So if that gives anybody hope out there. But you know what, more than likely I had not been asked a dream question since high school, and I was 25 years old. High school was when I was 17. That was a long time ago. So you might be the only person asking somebody to dream. So I'm going to give you some questions to go back to that in a minute here. So we're going to fast forward now. So and you thank her, because right now you just took her to a place of dreaming where she hasn't been in a long time. So then I get to, then you can affirm something, give her a compliment, a sincere compliment about something she shared, something that you noticed, like her perseverance story, her success story. What did you notice about her? Wow, you have championship quality, Stephanie. I see a champion in you, right? Or gosh, Ale, you're an overcomer with having gone through that car accident and you're being on that cast for how long and going through the surgery and raising 2 kids and doing what, right? Overcomer story. Give her a sincere compliment, right? So I don't know the last time she got a compliment. So now you're speaking to her soul, speaking to her in a way that she probably hasn't spoken to in a long time. And for somebody who just getting to know her is seeing her inner strengths and being, right? So, and I did say, something simple like, so I'm not a stranger to you. I want to share a little bit more about myself. So maybe she really does know you, but doesn't know your Mary Kay story. Maybe she knows you really well, but doesn't know your Mary Kay journey. So, but if she doesn't know you at all, share a little bit more about your story in Mary Kay briefly, so she can connect with you, right? And then a way that you can tie in and connect with her in some way, because, think if you were with her face to face, you're listening and you're looking for connecting points. How can I connect with her? How can my story connect with hers, right? Connect, but be brief. And then, okay, well, now I'm going to share with you 3 things that most people want to know if they're going to consider Mary Kay for themselves. Now, it doesn't mean that she said yes to Mary Kay, but I'm going to share with her 3 things that most people want to know. And so people always want to know, first, people want to know, how much does it really take to get started? People really want to know. So you can, at this point, show an image of our $30 e-kit, but really keeping it, you guys, simple. Right now, it is in the past, it was 100 plus 30 with the website, plus 40 for your virtual, your pro pay. Now you can start your business for just a $30 e-start kit. Nothing more, nothing less. It is as simple as that. You guys, simple. When you over-explain, you overcomplicate. Less is more. Keep it simple, sweetie. Mary Kay said a kiss. Keep it simple, sweetie, right? And I go, and any questions on that? Perfect. Moving on. Question number 2, the second thing people want to know most, how much money can I really make? You can share with her your personal experience. We cannot, that's what we do. We cannot claim that you join Mary Kay, you're going to make $10,000 a month, but we can share our personal experience, and honestly, talk about your first party and maybe your best week and your last week, and I will tell you, just from my experience from debuts and from virtual parties, that the average new consultant is making between $50, $75 an hour for the time they actually share product sharing, right? Not just they make calls for 1 hour. Doesn't mean you're making money right that hour, right? Product sharing experiences. And I love sharing with them that we have unlimited earning potential. We make money in a couple of ways. From the sales you make 50% on everything you sell. Give them an example. Your first party, your last guest, right? And maybe your last reorder, right? And and 4 to 36% commission on team building, right? So you can share that, right? Simply right there, this is how much you can make, but depending how much money you put, time you put into your business, depends how much money you can make, right? We're not claiming anything. And then the third people want to know is, how much time does it really take? Guys, you can give them your example. I think people have the misconception that they have to invest 15, 20, 30, 40 hours a week to be successful. And people tend to give me the objection of like, well, if I can't, I'll do this when I can give all my all, when I have more time. And I ask them, like, when will that be? When are they going to have more time? When are they going to have things off their plates? Like, I feel like if anything, we get more on our plate. And I tell them that sincerely. Say, you know what? You don't have to have all this time, but the time that you do have, you give your best. You can give 100% in your 20 minutes. You can give 100% in your 15 minutes. You give 100% in your 5 hours that week, but you don't need 100 hours to give 100%, right? So it can take as little as a couple hours a week to make a little extra cash, or you can replace your full-time income if you want to. The more time you invest, the more time you can make, the more you can move up, right? But you can also take it as slow as you like. Being real. Share them with your experience. In different seasons, you've done more, you've done less, right? Sharing with them, what is possible, being sincere. So I'm going to add a question here, one personal question to them here. I do like this question about, if you only had a couple minutes with me, what would be the one question? I do want to know what's on their mind, because I want to know what questions. And so many times people are like, no, you've answered it all. Okay. Like sometimes they're just like, thank you, but they don't even know what to ask or what to even think of. They maybe just don't even know, right? So I like to ask that question. If you had a couple minutes with me, what would be the one question you might have for me? And if they don't have an answer, like, okay, that's fair. I like to ask them something right now. I like to ask them, if you could share your top 3 priorities right now to end this year, to end 2020, your top 3 priorities right now. What are your top 3 priorities? I'm going to add that question because this question came from Grace from Coach School. What are your top 3 priorities right now? I didn't say top 3 things, top 3 priorities. And actually, Grace teaches priorities to say, what are your top priorities? What are your priorities top 3? Excuse me. What are your priorities top 3 right now? Because it's going to tell you, it's going to give you a place where you can know what's most important to her right now. Not just, oh, my family, my faith. What's important to her right now? She may reveal to you Right now, if you just say in general, she might just be like, my family, my faith, secure, whatever. She might say right now, you know what? Paying the bills next month. You know what? Figuring out how to homeschool my kid while making money. She might say, you know what? Just something, may not finding something for me, something positive, or hey, whatever. I don't know. What are your top 3 priorities right now? And many times they don't even know. Helping them think through that. And when she answers that question, I just want you to think, which of those Mary Kay could provide for her? Which of those can Mary Kay provide for her? More time with my family. How can Mary Kay do that? I'm thinking aloud, right? And if Mary Kay could give her more of that, how could that change things, right? How could that change things? Whatever she shares with you, even if it's one thing, maybe it's all 3 things, maybe it's 2 things. Ale, if Mary Kay could help you create more time with your family, what would that do for you? What would that do for you? If Mary Kay could give you more time to more independence and freedom or security you're looking for, you mentioned this, or it could give you a faithful environment in this season, whatever is the one thing or 2 things, maybe it's all 3. If Mary Kay could give you more of this, what would tomorrow look like for you? What would the next 3 months look like for you to finish off the year? People can't see beyond the next few months, you guys, right now. People we're thinking month to month. And this is where I would tie in what Ari teaches. People are looking for self-reliance, security, right? And what was the other one? Can't see my notes right now. Self-reliance, security, and go, Ale. What is it, Ale? Are you muted? You're muted. I can't see my notes are out on the screen. My notes are here. Hold on. You just exit the screen. I see your screen.
I'm learning how to work this out.
There she is.
Heritage brand, freedom, flexibility, trusted brand, safety.
Safety.
Safety. People are looking for these things, and to ask you, what could make from these things, like, what do you need most right now? Women and men need something from there. Women and men need security, safety, these choices, self-reliance. They're looking for these things right now. So you can close it out with this, question. She can give her the time to answer a question. What are your priorities, top 3 right now? To between now and the end of this year. What are you looking for? What do you need? Let them think, let them pause, let them ponder, let them go there for a minute. Silence is okay. Silence is good. They're thinking. We as Americans don't like silence. Silence is good. They are thinking. Don't interrupt their thinking. Let them answer. And if Mary Kay could give you more independence and freedom, whatever they say, bring it back to them. If Mary Kay could provide you more this, how would tomorrow look? You guys, and then you ask them that question on a scale of 1 through 10, 5 being a chicken. Where would you believe your level of interest in being a Mary Kay beauty consultant? Ask them. And you know what? We've back and forth on this question. Do we ask them if they want to get started today? We've asked them. You know what? This will give you an answer to work with. This will give you a place to start with them. It'll give you a beginning, kind of like to know where they're at. They're either interested, curious, or not at all, right? And you can go from there. Now, here's the reality. They may or may not be ready on the spot. They may need more time to think about it. You can ask your director to help you step in. But you know what? This is where I close it up and say, you know what, Janet, I would love to share this with you. Here's what I see in you. Here's why I believe you'd be great at this. At this point, they've already come to every possible conclusion. I want to extend an invitation to them and say, you know what, here's what I'm building. Here's what I'm doing. I would love to include you. Would you be willing to at least try? If Mary Kay could help you bring this to your family, you just said, would you be willing to at least try? Pause. So these are conversations I want you to have with the people you're inviting to this Thursday's event. Shout out to Brianna. Brianna has like 10 guests or some 10 or 5 guests for Thursday already. I want to challenge you. I'm even going to post here my script on how you can invite them right now to Thursday night. Here's a script. Hey, Amanda, I thought of you. I'm so excited to share. I'm just 3 leaders away, 2 leaders away, 5, whatever you are, from my first big promotion to Mary Kay. And I would love your support with my leadership training to help me grow. As a part of my training, I'm selecting 3 women to tune into our live event, our live Real Stories for Women virtual event this Thursday at 7. It's in the chat, guys. I'm reading from the chat. Just from being on, you get entered to. I did it fast. Would you be my guest of honor? Invite them. They say yes. They show up. You do this interview with them. And maybe you're brand new. You're like, my director, please help me. She would be happy to help you. But I want to challenge you to have this conversation with somebody literally this Thursday. You invite them to Thursday, have them watch Thursday. They can't make it Thursday. Schedule this with them. Schedule it for tomorrow. Schedule it for Friday. Schedule it right away. So I asked Stephanie 2 things. I asked a couple of things. I asked first Wendy. Wendy was, I gave her the script to do, and she had in 1 week, I believe 3 interviews scheduled, of which 2 joined. Wendy, I know she can't be on camera today. Wendy, do you mind sharing with us just that process with you? You use the script, you use it, you copied it, you sent it out. And Wendy, we went from there and we had these amazing conversations with 3 women, of which 2 joined your team. One is on this call today. Can you tell me a little bit more about that process for you, Wendy?
Hi, ladies. How are you tonight? Sorry I can't be on camera.
You're good.
Yes, when Christine gave me this challenge, at first I was like, a little bit skeptical, but most definitely I went ahead and I took the challenge, and I started calling my friends, and 2 of them automatically, I knew based on the questions and based on, what they were asking me and stuff like that, that they were more interested of knowing more. And as well, the questions of them just having, helping me go through these questions and learning more and supporting me and stuff like that. And, it just ignited something as well in them. And, Christy, she wanted more of the financial independence. You really, with these questions, you really get what they want, what is it that they are looking for. And at that moment, she wanted that more financial freedom, independence. She's only 18 years old. And with Teresita, the same thing. Teresita dreams big. She loves to vacation. She wants to make the extra income. And, it's a way to go deeper in with them and really get to know more of them. In this case, one of them is my boyfriend, my son's girlfriend, and the other one is a best friend, sister for over 30-something years. But you never really know what they're thinking or what they want until you really go down deep into these questions. And I really liked it. And Christine, and thank you. I'm definitely going to continue to use this because it was a very great tool. Definitely, it works.
Thank you, Wendy, for sharing that. I want to actually add something you mentioned was so powerful. When we dug deep into these questions, something that I added there, this is from like giving you tips from $1,000 tip for free, guys. This is Coach School tips for free. Here it is, $1,000 in your pocket right here. I asked him, so Christy, you want financial independence and freedom. If not through Mary Kay, how else will you achieve it this year? Bam, drop the mic question.
Yes.
If not through Mary Kay, how else do you plan to achieve it this year? What is your plan B? And many times, most people honestly don't have a plan. And right there, you are their only plan. And this provides them a way to get to their goal faster. So this is a very powerful question. This is intuition. You have to just have it there and just use it when you know it. You guys have your notes. You can be asking these questions with your notes. Well, we have 2 minutes, and Stephanie has an amazing story I want her to share because she had a shift recently. And I want her to share about that shift because she had not ventured fully into the virtual world, and her decision this past couple of weeks led her to not just virtual parties, but 2 new team members in 1 week. Stephanie, take it away.
Hi, good evening, everybody. So I have to talk really fast because we actually have one of my team members' first appointment in 60 seconds. So, so I just wanted to share that I think it's really important to always be willing to just get out and try something new eventually. You can't spend too long just kind of like frozen, I think. And I think that it's important to know like what your goals are and remember that. I think that I was, I just kind of just didn't really want to do it virtually. And then I had ideas of being a director again, but I felt like, well, I don't even know from experience if this virtual thing is going to work because I hadn't done it. And I felt like if I was going to recruit new team members, it needed to be, I wanted to be able to know that it worked if I'm going to talk to people about joining it. Like I want to be speaking from integrity. And so I was like, okay, the only way I'm going to do that if I get out and do these virtual appointments. And I think that really built my confidence in seeing it work, seeing sales come in, having, $400, $500, $600 weeks, really built my confidence that this works. And then when you know that it works and you're excited about it and you're making money, it just naturally overflows because you can talk about it with integrity because you're doing it, you're selling. And I've had a lot more better financial management than in the past. My husband's really helped me with that. And so I think even seeing my savings account rise up in money that's encouraging too. And I have a huge goal to pay off the rest of my student loan by the end of the year, which is $4,200. So my husband's helping me stay accountable for that. So I think finding somebody that it can keep you accountable is really important as well. And then from that and your excitement, it will just overflow. So I think that's, and then just following the process, booking the second appointments, you have to just follow all the steps and cross your T's and dot your I's and then work it full circle.
That was perfect. I know you're running late to your appointment. Thank you.
I'm 1 minute late.
Oh,
okay, wait, side note, super exciting. I'm going to be in the Oprah magazine for Mary Kay on November 10th. So I can tell you more about it, but I'm a minute late.
Yo, everybody buy the Oprah magazine. Go see Stephanie. Yay! Awesome. So you guys, she was featured. She won the Mary Kay, my Mary Kay contest challenge with her story. You're going to see it featured in the Oprah magazine. Super cool. They sent her also all of Oprah's favorite things that she had featured that month, which was really cool. So check her out. We're super proud of her. But you guys, you have the same success story. It's when you go out of your comfort zone, you try something new, every time you stretch, you build your confidence. Every little win builds your confidence. Getting out there. Today, my challenge for you, Thursday, we have Karen Rydell. Phenomenal. You're going to love hearing from her. Thursday at 7 in English, 7:30 in Spanish will be another guest speaker. So pack it up. You have the script to invite. Make a commitment. I'm inviting 10, 15 women. Minimum. Make it your goal to have 5 people show up minimum showing up, meaning you invite more, 10, 15, 20. And then you can have these conversations immediately afterwards. So, and let us know who you come from so we can support you and guide you in the follow-up. We're super excited and we got over time. I'm passionate about team building, as you can tell. I can go on and on about team building all day, every day. I believe in it. So, and if somebody had not shared with you, you would not be here today. So have the courage to share. Sharing is not about you. It's about somebody else. And at the end of the day, you both win. So with that said, we want to do a big wave. We're out, no time for questions right now. We're out of time, but we love you guys. We're proud of you for being on. Hope this was inspirational and we'll see you Thursday night.